Prema istraživanjima Svetskog ekonomskog foruma, čak 65% sadašnjih osnovaca, kada porastu, bavit će se poslovima koji danas ne postoje, koristit će tehnologiju koja još uvek nije izmišljena i rešavat će probleme koje ne možemo ni da zamislimo. Pa kako se onda uopšte smisleno baviti obrazovanjem i za kakvu budućnost pripremati đake? Na ova ključna pitanja došli smo da potražimo odgovor na BET-u, Svetskom sajmu obrazovanja i tehnologije, koji se više od 30 godina organizuje svakog januara ovde u Londonu.
Internet i digitalne tehnologije uneli su u škole sasvim novo obrazovno iskustvo. Sada se nastavne jedinice mogu prelaziti kao video igrice, usvajati kao virtualni sadržaj i savladavati kroz komunikaciju na daljinu. I to je tek početak promena u obrazovanju koje je donela četvrta industrijska revolucija. Velike rasprave o ciljevima i metodama savremenog obrazovanja u kontekstu razvoja novih tehnologija vode se u celom svetu. Zbog toga je i sajam obrazovne tehnologije u Londonu postao nezaobilazno mesto susreta onih koji se bave kreiranjem budućnosti obrazovanja. Preko 35.000 posetilaca imalo je priliku da obiđe štandove više od 650 izlagača iz celog sveta, isproba nove proizvode, čuje brojna predavanja i prezentacije, učestvuje na panel diskusijama i radionicama i pokuša da sazna odgovor na pitanje kojim veštinama obučavati decu koje se rađaju i odrastaju uz tehnologiju koja se menja velikom brzinom.
So we live in a very technological world, and it's about not necessarily learning things in memory, but learning skills and computational thinking skills. Being able to decompose a problem, abstract the unneeded information, find patterns, and then start thinking algorithmically will be skills that we know will be needed and that we'll be able to implement. I think getting that understanding, we don't need to create a generation of code monkeys. We need to create a generation of people who speak a common technological language, which is what we're doing in the UK. The UK has done a really good job since 2014 to establish a coding curriculum as part of the computing part of learning. And this is what we're following, and we're seeing a lot of engagement. Once you start giving children understanding that all these technological devices are the same, they just look differently and put it into different recipes, then you start them to think really holistically and you get them the opportunity to start creating as well and adding value to the economy and to society.
We're not going to know what knowledge, even what skills they need to enter the workforce when they are, when they're at the age to be the ones leading. It's going to change. Things are going to develop and grow. So what's actually really, really important is that we start to develop skills rather than just certain subsets of knowledge. We really need to engage people so that they can have a growth mindset and that they can continue to develop, continue to learn throughout their lifetime, because that's what they're going to have to be able to do.
There is nothing more important in education right now than to focus on digital and creative literacy. No matter what jobs, what occupation our students are going to have 10, 20, 30 years from now, there's going to be an expectation that they can express themselves digitally, that they know how to communicate, that they know how to share ideas creatively. The days of doing the same job over and over and writing simple reports, those are gone. No matter what they do, they're going to be comfortable in a digital universe and have to be able to express themselves creatively. And so they're ready. They're not the bottleneck. The bottleneck is the education system and the teachers are having the right tools given to them, and our job is to make sure that happens.
Deca su spremna da uče u novom okruženju, ali obrazovni sistemi se sporo menjaju. Kako rešiti ovaj problem, pitanje je o kome se razgovaralo i na ovogodišnjem Svetskom obrazovnom forumu, koji se organizuje u Londonu paralelno sa sajmom obrazovne tehnologije.
We need to address what we can't really anticipate in the next 10, 20 years, but within the time scale of the young people who are just starting school today. Within 10, 20 years, they will be the people in the workplace. They will be facing a different world. And a lot of the worry at the moment is that the fourth industrial revolution, as it's called, is going to devastate jobs. It's going to ruin economies. We have to think of it in a different way. We have to accept it as a challenge, but accept that there are many positives, and what we should be striving for is what the jobs of the future are going to be about, and what form of education will not only mean jobs for our young people, but satisfaction in life.
one of the things we need to do is, as well as building core knowledge in core curriculum subjects, so the mathematics, the literacy, understanding of science, which are essential, absolutely essential, we also need to provide young people with the ability to learn throughout their lives. And I see that technology will play a big part of that, a bigger part than it ever did in my life. Technology has come quite late for me, but it will be part of their lives in a way that my children live and breathe their use of their tablets, their phones. It is just absolutely part of their lives, and that will be part of the working life, and therefore it has to be part of their educational life as well.
25 years ago, we had a big push to get more kids in school because, frankly, there just weren't enough kids in school. And through the Education for All movement, many, many millions of people are now in school who weren't before. But the question is, are they learning? And how do we know? And a lot of our focus is on helping education systems, school heads, principals, and teachers ensure that actual learning is taking place and developing the systems so that they know what students learn, what they're not learning, as a way to figure out where there are gaps, where they should invest their resources. And this is, I think, the way forward. It's not just getting kids in school, it's ensuring that they're learning inside and outside of school.
Šta je ono što deca danas moraju da uče, kako ne bi bila samo vešti korisnici tehnologije, već pre svega kreatori i inovatori? Početak odgovora na ovo složeno pitanje glasi: moraju da savladaju osnove programiranja. A programiranje se može učiti na različite načine. Najzanimljiviji i najefikasniji način je kada se uči kroz programiranje rada nekog uređaja, metodom očigledne nastave. U Velikoj Britaniji prekretnicu nastavi programiranja napravio je projekat BBC Microbit, kojim je omogućeno da svaki učenik 7. razreda osnovne škole dobije mali multifunkcionalni digitalni uređaj koji se može programirati.
Putting the microbit into the educational process is about encouraging children to take an interest in digital skills and to get creative using coding. Now, the reason that we do this is because digital skills are hugely important going forward into the 21st century. Employers all over the globe are looking for people with digital capabilities. Not necessarily computer programmers, but people who are able to use digital tools. Microbit is very useful within education because we're not just using it within the computer science area. Yes, you can use it to help people to learn how to code, to develop what would be called computational thinking skills, to work in teams, to problem solve, which are all vital skills. However, you can use it in lots of other areas of the curriculum as well. So you can use it in subjects as diverse as art and music. You can use it as a tool within science, for example, for data logging. You can use it within engineering for systems and control. You can use it within robotics. So for us, we see microbits as a tool that can be used across the whole school, not just within one department.
Od nacionalnog ovaj projekat je postao internacionalni, proširivši se i na zemlje Zapadnog Balkana. Zahvaljujući regionalnom programu podrške za razvoj kapaciteta škola na Zapadnom Balkanu, British Council je obezbedio po 30 mikrobita za 60 osnovnih škola kao i obuku nastavnika. Tako je mikrobit stigao i u 10 osnovnih škola u Srbiji.
So when we rolled out microbit across the UK, we ensured that we had lots of teacher training in the microbit and how to use that coding skills. But we also found that it had lots of knock-on benefits for in the classroom, impacting on other subjects too. So although it teaches coding skills, we also use that as a methodology for other things like maths, for example. And so in terms of professional development for teachers, it's been very beneficial when we rolled across the UK. In terms of the Western Balkans, then we hope that's going to be the same thing. If possible, we'd like to expand it across the Western Balkans, rolled out. And all these learning we've had in roll across the UK will use that in the implementation and training throughout the Western Balkans.
U osnovi ovakve inovativne metodike nastave je u stvari davno poznat stav da se najbolje uči kroz praktičan rad, kroz niz pokušaja i samokorekcija, bez straha od neuspeha, sa vidljivim rezultatom na kraju. Jedan od ovogodišnjih dobitnika nagrade sajma primenio je baš to, razvijajući koncept učenja kroz samostalno sastavljanje računara.
So with PyTop, instead of just learning in a textbook and memorizing what, say, an integer or a Boolean is or some type of technical term, students are actually building something like a music synthesizer. So they're making LEDs work, they're making buttons work, and then they're adding sound samples to a synthesizer that they've actually built inside of our laptop and then added code to. So in this process of learning how to build a project, they understand core computer science concepts that they get examined on, at the end of the school year.
Jedan od najilustrativnijih primjera koji pokazuje koliko se promenio način učenja usled tehnološkog razvoja je takozvana gamifikacija obrazovanja, odnosno učenje kroz zabavu i edukativne igrice.
So we see teachers using Minecraft really across the curriculum. Minecraft's played by tens of millions of players in all countries around the world. And so we put together some tools and worlds to help teachers get started, but really they can come into a classroom and offer to the students, hey, we're going to be studying chemistry today. I'd like you to go into Minecraft and demonstrate a concept. You can use sodium acetate to make an ice bomb that'll make water freeze instantly. And so I come in here and then I need to put these into the lab table. And when I put my 4 sodium acetate, this starts to animate to show that we found something. We found something we can create. So I combine, and my ice bomb pops out. So once I get the ice bomb, I can come down here. So I have some water here, and I can freeze the water instantly.
So we just released yesterday a study that we just conducted around what we call the class of 2030. And what we found was that there are 2 themes that are going to be super critical as we move forward. The first one is around social and emotional skills, and the second one is around personalized learning as a key way to teach social and emotional skills, and then the role that technology can play in that. There's a couple of core needs that teachers have. The key barriers to teaching social and emotional skills in the classroom are things like time. If you can use technology to first save them time that they can then free up for some of these higher order things to teach, is step one. How can you use technology to really include children of all abilities? That's another key use of the classroom to which our latest announcement ties. How can you take a best practice from the classroom and scale it across a school district, or even an entire school system in a country? That's where technology can play a key role. And in addition to that, if you look at these more immersive learning, and that's where you can leverage technologies like, mixed reality, game-based learning, all of these kinds of things. And you can also use a lot of our technology to really gain insights into the individual learner's progress. So those are just very quickly 5 core areas where technology can play a really important role.
This is Microsoft's initiative to democratize STEM education. The goal is to make it affordable, accessible, and available to everyone. To that effect, we are using everyday materials to build science and STEM projects to make sure that every student on the planet can do this. So for example, this lesson plan talks about robotics, anatomy, and data science. It's called Building Machines That Emulate Humans. So students start by building fingers out of boba straws. So these are the straws that you use for bubble tea or shakes, and using these straws, they're cutting some notches, they're putting some fishing line in, and when they pull this, it acts like a finger, right? So they're learning biology through this. They're not memorizing this, but because they are building with their hands, they have a kinesthetic experience, so they're learning by doing. The next step is for them to build a sensor. This is a flex sensor that costs about $10 in the market. But using some cardboard and copper tape and some wire, this can be built for 25 cents. You put some cardboard, some copper tape, put some plastic and some scotch tape, and we have a sensor. So think of how 5 students, each student builds this, and each student builds one straw finger. They come together, they have a full-blown robotic hand. When we connect this robotic hand, and this glove is exactly this, it's covered in the tape so that it's, for the conference. When I connect this, they're able to move the robotic hand. Not only are they moving their physical robotic hand, they're also moving their robotic hand in Excel and measuring data. So kids are developing 4 critical 21st century technical skills. They are mechanical engineering, data science, software engineering, and electrical engineering. We believe that these 4 21st century technical skills will prepare kids for those 21st century jobs that don't exist yet.
So of course we want to prepare our students for jobs that don't already exist. What this means is turning them into passive learners to active learners. We need them to be constantly learning, unlearning, and relearning as they go through their own education process. A passive learner expects somebody else to bring me that information, instead of an active learner who actually goes out and seeks new information. As the society changes, new information is being invented every day. These students need to be going out and actively grabbing at that and incorporating that into the projects that they're actually working on. So it's about building those skills within students. Those skills are, yes, a student-based skill, but students exist within an educational environment that includes teachers. Teachers need to be constantly learning and relearning as they go through that process. And then, of course, teachers receive extreme pressures from administration, from ministries of education, from the state and government level. And so we also need to make sure that those are being responsive to the changes that are happening. If society changes rapidly, but our administration and our ministries don't change to keep up with that, then teachers are going to be in this awkward position of being judged based on old standards, but trying to teach and prepare their students for that workforce of the future.
I think one of the key trends that we're seeing this year is the need to demonstrate efficacy of the products. So to actually measure the impact that it's having. Because quite rightly, the UK government is saying, £500 million is spent a year in the UK on ICT and technology. Where's the evidence to show that it's making a difference? And we're working with suppliers and actually academics on a project called the Educate project to try and make sure that startups from the very outset have research and evidence very much at the heart of what they do to make sure that they can demonstrate in a very rigorous way the impact that they're making. And that's very important. If schools are going to make that leap and embrace technology, if teachers are going to take the time to be trained, then actually I think it's only right and proper that these companies demonstrate that actually it makes a difference and it's not just tech for tech's sake, which is a very dangerous trend.
Izmenjena realnost ušla je u škole i zauzela važno mesto u obrazovanju. Sa vizirima na glavi koji učenicima pružaju autentično iskustvo drugačije realnosti, postalo je potpuno jasno da se nalazimo u sred dramatičnih promena koje donosi 4. industrijska revolucija.
So this is the Lenovo Mirage Solo. This is an all-in-one VR headset. So it has 110 degrees field of view, very comfortable padding. It has volume controls and a headset port so that you can put headphones on and be fully immersed. It has a handset controller that you would use to drive and navigate your experiences, and it has full 360 motion, but also 6 degrees of freedom within that motion. Students 13 and up can place that headset on, and they're immediately in an immersive experience. Inside that experience, we're partnering with Google Expeditions. Google Expeditions has 700 plus pieces of virtual content that students can learn about what it's like to be on Mount Everest and to explore a volcano, or to be on the shores of World War II at D-Day. So let's talk, digitalization of the classroom is certainly a big trend. We never see virtual reality replacing the teacher. This is not an entertainment device. This is an engagement tool. So this is something that would be used to start that lesson or as a part of the curriculum. But then once they take the headset off, they're back in the classroom. They're talking about what they experienced. They're building a project around it, or they're having a shared experience. They're going to have a classroom of students that have experienced the same virtual reality, and then they'll come back into the classroom and they'll talk about it. That shared experience will help them see different perspectives on what they saw.
I have mixed feelings about virtual reality. I can see massive value in some ways, which is, for us, it's about recreating worlds that you wouldn't be able to step into otherwise. So none of us can shrink to the size of an atom and molecule and experience what it's like to be in that world, and in a very 3D, immersive way. You can do that using VR, and that's really exciting because for learners who haven't been able to create useful mental models and can't quite grasp what it is at the molecular world, they can actually very, very quickly get up to speed with very complex scientific concepts. But there's also this thing with VR where it is quite an individual experience, and as I mentioned earlier, it requires quite a lot of money at the moment. So that means it's not as accessible to a whole range of students. So what we need to do is make sure that the content in VR is really, really good and that actually has pedagogical impact and makes a real difference rather than just being gimmicky. So I think we're walking a really fine line, and it needs to be used well if it's going to be used at all.
We've done a lot of research on implementing games in education, things from mobile games to massively multiplayer games to 3D games, and the answer is it depends. There's not, in education research, we often look for sort of clear outcomes. This thing works or this doesn't work. We're never going to have that on any technology or any intervention. Even books or lecturing don't have those kinds of clear binary outputs. We can think about much more nuanced ways we can think about learning and learning technologies, about what works for whom, when, and where, and why. And particularly as we now get to the age of personalized learning, it's not going to be one size fits all, but rather we need to think about ways that the educational technologies can serve particular needs, particular audiences, particular teachers. So we certainly can talk about ways that educational games can improve collaboration, can improve content knowledge, can improve understanding of the sort of scientific domains, and we can point to evidence around that. But it's all going to depend on for whom, where, what, when, and why. And we need to think about ways that we can disseminate those kinds of results to teachers as well as researchers.
Kako uz pomoć tehnologije postići bolju efikasnost i veću dostupnost obrazovanja, pokazuje matematički genij iz Indije, Nishal Narayanam, najmlađi svetski šampion u pamćenju i najmlađi student univerziteta Osmanija u Indiji. Nishal je morao da sačeka 21. rođendan kako bi formalno postao vlasnik kompanije za pametna obrazovna rešenja koje je sam dizajnirao.
At the age of 10, I authored several books on mathematics, and I designed and developed a mathematics laboratory, which is a portable lab, which you're seeing it right now. So this was my brainchild, which I designed at the age of 10. So for the first time ever, we designed something called portable and micro-scale laboratories, which are for mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology. So in a school, instead of taking a child to a laboratory, you bring the lab to the classroom to promote hands-on learning and experimental learning. So with more than 5,000 different tools and instruments, our labs are useful to teach the entire curriculum from grade 1 to grade 10 for ages 4 to 16, and they are useful to do more than 2,500 different experiments. In the physics lab, for example, we have different tools for learning the concepts of heat, light, electricity and magnetism mechanics. And these tools, the uniqueness is we have our own portable generator, we have our own power source, so it is not dependent on any external energy source. And we also have our own heat source for chemistry, own light source for physics, own power source for physics. So they're one of the most eco-friendly laboratories. Our portable laboratories come with something called 3D ebooks, which are first of its kind. And these 3D ebooks are powered by real-time 3D simulations and animations. And you can just zoom. It's a very, very immersive experience, what you can play around with the 3D models. And you can read the content, which is a multilingual content. With just one tap of a button, the language changes. And this is the Indian version where we developed. It is English to Hindi version. We can play the videos, and the students can watch these videos for all the concepts. And once they watch the videos, they can do these exercises. So this particular model teaches us the circulation of blood within the heart. So once you complete the simulation, the heart starts pumping the blood. So this shows how the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood circulates within the heart. And also, most importantly, our labs are powered by augmented reality, which is one of the latest technologies. So this is one of the pages of our physics laboratory. So once you scan this with a mobile device, a simulation comes out. So it's a real-time simulation, which you can keep it on the table. Yeah, it's a real-time simulation. So this, you can rotate the simulation, you can play around with the model. And this particular model teaches electromagnetism concept. So once you turn on the power, a magnetic field is created and the pins get attracted. And once you turn off the power, the magnetic field is switched off and the pins fall down. And in the same way, now for example, I want to show for math, I want to teach a concept of geometry, which is taught in class 10, which is a plus b whole cube, is an algebraic identity. So a plus b whole cube is nothing but a cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square plus b cube. So once we just press play, the entire simulation works on its own. And this shows a very, very kind of engaging experience of how a formula is derived, and the students need not by heart or mug up the concepts, but they can actually understand the derivation of the formula through real-time simulations. This tool is useful for more than 120 activities in mathematics for arithmetic, algebra, and trigonometry, etc. So one of the concepts what we teach, for example, is sigma n odd numbers, right? Actually, the thing is, when I was about 10 years, when I was in school, I never had these kind of tools to understand the concept in a better way. We were always like mugging up and by-hearting the concepts. But I realized that conceptual clarity is very, very important, and application of knowledge is very important. What we learn in the school should be in such a way that we should ultimately know the purpose of why we are learning and how it is useful in real life. Trigonometry is not just learning sine, cos, tan on a blackboard, but it is understanding that it is useful in architecture, it is useful in construction field, how we can apply our knowledge. Like logarithms are useful in measuring Richter scales of an earthquake. So every concept we learn in mathematics or in sciences, it can be applied to real life. And that's when, if we teach that to the students, that's when they know the purpose of why they're learning and what they're learning. We prove that the sum of n consecutive odd numbers, that is sigma n odd numbers, is n square. In the simplest way, we can prove all the different theorems of mathematics. Thereby, the students need not by heart or mug up the concepts and can understand the true derivation of the formula. Yeah. So basically, what videos you're seeing are one of its kind. These are 3D animation which were developed in-house back in India, and the uniqueness is every concept from grade 1, that is from ages 5 or 6 years, to grade 12, that is up to 17, 18 years, so the entire K-12 space, we have developed more than 500 hours of 3D animation content, which in the schools we install this, and the kids wear the 3D glasses and they watch the videos as a very, very immersive experience. So it's a combination of watching the videos, doing the activities with real instruments, and then doing the activities again in the tablet with reinforcement at home. And we have a clientele of more than 200,000 schools back in India, and we are looking forward to partner with European markets as well.
Nove tehnologije unele su novu dimenziju učenja u obrazovni proces. Različite vrste realnosti ušle su u učionicu. Međutim, da li je to dovoljno da se u potpunosti promeni obrazovanje kakvo poznajemo? Može li kompjuter zameniti školu, a robot nastavnika? Saznaćete u drugom delu emisije posvećene sajmu obrazovne tehnologije u Londonu.
Thank you.